This is Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior coming your way on today's show. Getting to the latest on James Harden. Looks as though he's going to return to Philadelphia on a short-term contract. Also, could one of the biggest developers helping Tyrese Maxey leave the Sixers and go to the Utah Jazz in Sam Cassell? We're going to unpack all of it, but first, we start off with James Harden, okay? So according to Jake Fischer of Bleacher Report, he did write a book on the 76ers, so has some good ties to the organization. He reported that all signs point to Harden signing a short-term deal with Philadelphia. Now, if that ends up happening, or if the Sixers make any moves throughout free agency, they make a pick or two in the NBA draft, we have you covered right here on the channel. That's why you have to subscribe. We're approaching the year mark of when we launch Philadelphia 76ers now, and as we get closer to 7,000 subs in that calendar year, it's been awesome to see the channel grow, but our off-season coverage is about to get real. We're about to ramp up our coverage as well, pushing out multiple videos per week, so just hit that red subscribe button to join the movement right here on the channel. So back to James Harden. Fisher saying Harden and the 76ers expected to agree on a shorter term extension. I think this is best case scenario for both the Sixers as well as James Harden, given some of the concerning trends that we saw last year. We'll explore those here coming up momentarily. He does have that player option for next year at $47.5 million. This is what I like here from Sixers ownership, if it's true, and from Daryl Morey. Sixers ownership, according to Fisher, has been resistant to giving Harden a 4-year extension, and I think that's good because it's problematic how his game continues to go downhill. Is it because of the hamstring? Is it because he's aging with all the mileage on the tires? We will see here shortly. More from Fisher on the beard. Harden and Sixers leadership are aligned on one clear directive, sources said. The franchise's best opportunity to compete for a championship, starring Joel Embiid, as well as Harden's optimal opportunity to earn his first and most sought-after NBA ring, resides with Harden playing in Philadelphia for the foreseeable future. We're going to continue to unpack all of this, take a look at the numbers, then we'll get to Tyrese Maxey and Sam Cassell. But first, I want to hear from all of you watching in the comment section right now. I know a lot of you are gamers. You like to hop on the sticks. You like to play NBA 2K. So if you were to grade James Harden right now on the NBA 2K scale right now, not when he was in his prime, right now, how would you grade him from 1 to 100? So when it comes down to Harden, trading him or letting him walk, I think is pretty unrealistic. This is the apple of Daryl Morey's eye. He gave up and mortgaged a lot to trade for him at the NBA trade deadline. And I think that Morey owes it to himself and to the organization to see what a full season of Harden and Embiid can do. When they're operating the two-man game, when they were running the pick and roll, they were one of the deadly two-man combos in the league. So him coming back, I'd like to see what he can do on a full sample size. Ideally, I'd like to see him get traded or walk. I just don't think it's realistic, and I don't think there's any chance that it happens. So with that, I want to say this. For Harden to improve, I want to see him get better in a couple of areas, and I want to see these areas be a point of emphasis for him this offseason. Needs to get in better shape. Hit up Chris Paul. He has that vegan diet. He's in his mid to late 30s. He's playing the best basketball, arguably, of his career up to this point. That's not a hyperbolic statement to say. Chris Paul, outside of the tail end of the NBA playoffs, has been exceptional the last 2 years. He's on that vegan diet. He's lost a little bit of weight. And I think that Harden could benefit from losing 15 to 20 pounds because maybe that allows him to get at least half that step back, or is able to get back some of that explosiveness, which made him such a threat with that elusive first step off the dribble to get to the rack, create for himself, get to the 10, but also pass it out and kick it out to some of his teammates awaiting around the perimeter. You also have to figure out this hamstring injury. Is it a real thing? Is it not? Or is it because of all of the mileage on the tires for Harden, because his usage rate when he was in Houston, winning an MVP, winning the scoring title, was as high as anybody in the NBA at that time, and every single night he was available and playing a lot of minutes. So is it all of the mileage, or is it the hamstring issue? Got to figure it out because this has plagued him now the last 2 years going back to Brooklyn. He also has to be content with not being the guy. I think the Sixers' offense in the playoffs moved more fluidly, and it was better when James Harden was like the third or fourth option led by Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and then James Harden using his special vision and distribution skills to set everybody else up. He's not the guy any longer that he once was with Houston, has to be content with that. Now you take a look at the numbers from the regular season to the playoffs. And one more thing, I think that Harden can become a better catch-and-shoot player. Really what he does, he only shoots off the dribble, shoots off the step back, and that's not the most efficient way to knock down three-pointers. If you're a good shooter, got to be able to be a good catch-and-shoot guy. So going back to the numbers here, regular season and playoffs, right? Regular season, those first 5 games after the trade, you're like, oh my gosh, James Harden is reinvigorated. He's looking fantastic. He's making it happen offensively by scoring the basketball and passing. And then he kind of flatlined after that. 22 points per game in the regular season, 10 dimes, 7.5 rebounds. The production there is pretty solid when he's on the team that he is with other good complementary pieces. What my problem with Harden is, both in the playoffs as well as the regular season, 41% from the field in the regular season, less than 33% during normal games. Then in the playoffs, those figures not desirable either, and the points per game went down, so too did the assists when the play gets a little bit more physical. So those are the concerning trends for Harden, and that's why it's ideal and best for the Sixers for him to sign that short-term deal. Coming up next on the show, Sam Cassell, one of the better assistants on the Sixers staff and in the league, arguably, is interviewing with the Utah Jazz. And honestly, if Doc Rivers were to get fired, he'd be up there with Jay Wright for my Doc Rivers replacements. We'll get to Sam Cassell right around the corner. But first, I want you to embrace debate. I want you to be real with me and honest with me in the comments section. Do you want James Harden back? This franchise is split, and this fan base is split. Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comment section right now. Now, of course, you're tuned into us on Philadelphia 76ers now as we get closer to 7,000 subs. That's why you hit that red sub button down below. But our main Chat Sports YouTube channel during the NBA Finals was able to eclipse 300,000 subs. And a week from today, actually, on the 23rd, we'll be going live for every single pick, both rounds of the NBA draft, live 2 hours early as well, right around 6 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you join us, myself and Harrison Graham, bringing you everything that goes down during draft night. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Cannot wait to talk about all these prospects. Now to Sam Cassell. This coming from Shams Charania yesterday of The Athletic. The Utah Jazz are interviewing 76ers assistant Sam Cassell for their open head coaching job, sources tell me and another colleague. Cassell was a part of the 2008 champion Boston Celtics, constructed by now Jazz CEO Danny Ainge, and has been an assistant coach since 2009. So Sam Cassell, Danny Ainge, there's that level of familiarity, and they know one another. And for Cassell, he's really had a nice little rise throughout the coaching ranks, going all the way back to 2009 when he started his coaching career right after his playing career wrapped up. And you remember that 2001 playoff series with him, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, Ray Allen. Wells Fargo Center at that time was the first Union Center? It was popping off as Allen Iverson and the Sixers during that MVP year were able to take down the Bucks en route to the NBA Finals. So right after Cassell's career gets wrapped up, he goes to the coaching ranks, Wizards from 09 to 14, then with the Clippers for a long stint under Doc Rivers, and then he followed Doc Rivers from the Clippers to the Sixers. And I think it's a matter of time before he gets one of those sought-after head coaching jobs. And if he does leave, no matter when he does leave, whether it's this offseason, next offseason, going to be a big loss for the Sixers for a variety of reasons. Most importantly, though, and most notably, done a great job with his development of Tyrese Maxey. He's been able to take him under his wing, help him learn the ropes, and we've seen a monster jump from Tyrese Maxey from his rookie year to year 2, which last year he came onto the scene as one of the best young upstart players in the NBA, and he was even better in the playoffs, as we're about to show you. But you look at what he did in his rookie year after being selected thanks to Mike Muscala hitting that three in the bubble for the pick to convey. 15 minutes per game as a rook, 8 points per game, 2 dimes, shot about 46% from the field and 30% from distance. He was also good in the playoffs, too, when given opportunities. Then, without Ben Simmons, his numbers just rose dramatically from his rookie year to his sophomore campaign, and everything increased. And then in the playoffs, he really turned some heads. Nearly 21 points per game, the field goal percentage at 48 with a lot of opportunities to shoot it. and he was letting it fly from deep as well, not scared to do so. A near 38% knockdown shooter from downtown, and I think he's going to be even better once again with more offensive opportunities as he becomes more of a focal point for the Sixers offense this upcoming year. So Maxey, he will miss Sam Cassell if he ends up leaving, and even if Cassell doesn't leave this year, it's a matter of time, I think, before he gets a head coaching job in the NBA. One more question to ask you before I hop on out of here. Heading back to the Northeast, actually. Going to be in Wilmington, Delaware, flying into Philly tonight for one of my best friend's weddings, so maybe I'll see some of you out there. And if you see me, give me a holler. How many points per game will Tyrese Maxey average next year? Let me know in the comments section. Appreciate all of you for watching. Make sure you subscribe.